All right, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel where we cover money, entrepreneurship, and building credit, both personal as well as business. So a lot of us already know for the most part what it takes to build up our personal credit, right? And if you don't know, then I have a whole catalog of videos that I've already put out of what you can do right now to start building your personal credit, and more videos that are set to follow coming up now in the next couple of weeks to months. But when it comes to business credit, it's a completely different world from what type of accounts you need, how you need to set it up to make sure that you get the right credit cards under your business, and what it takes for you to obtain large funding when it comes to you building your credit profile the right way as far as it goes with your business. Now make sure to stay through the entire video because I'm going to be sharing with you some different resources that you can check out so you can start building up different types of trade lines that's going to help you build a nice, strong business credit report. So in this video, we're going to be covering the 5 steps of what you need to do in order for you to build business credit the right way. If you're starting from scratch, or if maybe you've already been in business for some time, believe me, there's going to be parts in this video that you are going to start thinking, how didn't I already think of this before? Or why wasn't I doing this to begin with? So if this is the type of content that you're into, consider hitting that like button down below and consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Now, first things first, and this probably goes without saying, but like anything else, we have to make sure that we take this step by step. First things first, apart from finding the name for your business, whatever that name is, you want to make sure that you are opening up that LLC, or you are possibly opening it up as an S-CORP. The reason that this is important is because if you don't follow this step, then it's going to make it tougher for you down the line whenever you go to establish relationships with either bigger banks or possibly some vendors that you're trying to get in with, especially if they see that you don't have an EIN, they see that you don't have an LLC, they see that you're just flat out not established. It's going to be seen more as a side hustle. Now, is it technically a business, even if you get paid on a 1099 miscellaneous, or if you open up a website and you start generating funds? Yes, but you want to make sure, again, that you're running this sequence the right way. So when it comes to opening up an LLC, you can either check out websites if you want to do it yourself, like LegalZoom. But if you maybe wanted to take it a step further and you wanted to make sure that all of your documents are in place, then I recommend that you visit a local attorney's office specifically to your city and your area of where you're looking to do business, because they are going to know all the rules and regulations within that city or within that state that's going to help you incorporate that as well into your business structuring. Step number 2, once you have the LLC, you now want to make sure that you have and open up your EIN. Your EIN, think of it kind of like it being your social security, but for your business. You know how when you go to file your taxes, you have to use your own social security to obviously authenticate and to validate that it's actually you filing your personal taxes? Well, think of it being the same. Everywhere you go, whenever you're applying for a credit card or when you're purchasing a vehicle, whatever that looks like, they're obviously going to ask you for what? Even when you apply for a job, they're going to ask you for your social security, right? So think of it the same, but with the EIN, it's going to be for your business. So that way, again, as you're building up credit, you can detach your personal credit from your business credit, and there's no PG attached to that, which is a personal guarantee. Now, opening up an EIN is totally free, and you can do so by going on the IRS.gov website. You can go on there, you can go ahead and enter all of your business credentials. It really takes less than 10 minutes for you to do. And once you have that EIN, you can then go into the 3rd step. Now, the 3rd step is going to be for you to open up that business bank account. Look, whenever you go to apply for some of these lines of credit, yes, they can go off of your personal banking. But remember, if you really wanted to take the business to the next level, and if you really want to increase the odds of you actually getting approved for some of these lines of credit, especially if you're asking for 40, 50, 60, even $100,000 worth of business credit, lines of credit, then having that business bank account is going to be an absolute must, in my opinion, because again, it's going to help differentiate your personal funds from your business funds, and it's also going to make that P&L process, the profit loss process, a lot easier, especially if you start getting into some of the underwriting with what some of these banks look at. Now, there's different options that you can take when it comes to opening up that business bank account. You can either do it at your local bank. You can maybe go shop around to maybe another bank in your city. I know Bank of America, Wells Fargo, even Chase Business is a really good option. I don't necessarily endorse any of those banks because, again, I think it comes down to personal preference, but you can go ahead and check those out, or again, feel free to Google that just because I know that there are just some different options out there that you can take a look at when it comes to building up your business account. And that's going to be using obviously your EIN as well as your LLC when you go to open up these accounts, because this is going to segue into the fourth step when it comes to you building your business credit. Once you have the LLC, once you have the EIN, and once you have the business bank accounts, you now want to open up what's called or really get a DUNS number. Now this again is totally free as well. Everything that I'm giving you in this video is totally free, maybe with the exception of the LLC. Now, once you have that DUNS number, by the way, I'm going to show you exactly how to get it. You are going to go right on the Dun & Bradstreet website. Again, this is totally free. The purpose of you getting this DUNS number, and this is totally different from an EIN, you need the EIN in order for you to open up that Dun & Bradstreet account. That DUNS number is what they're going to use whenever they are reporting payments. So think of this as a credit bureau, which in fact, it actually is a credit bureau. Dun & Bradstreet, and if you've been in the business world, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if maybe this is new to you, Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian, and then you also have a FICO score specific to building your business credit, which is going to be the FICO Small Business Scoring Service. And by the way, that scores anywhere between a 0 to a 300. Your Dun & Bradstreet goes from a 0 to a 100. These are really different scoring models that are being considered whenever you are getting pre-qualified for some of these either loans or possibly heavier lines of credit. Again, you can wait and you can start having some of these vendors and some of these companies start reporting you to the Dun & Bradstreet or to Dun & Bradstreet without you having a DUNS number. But I would want to do this perfectly right off the jump. Or if maybe you've been in business for some time, you want to make sure that you start cleaning up this process right now. Pause the video, go over to the website and get that DUNS number. That also takes a few moments for you to take care of. When you have that DUNS number, you can also use that when you are having items reported. If you're maybe trying to build your net 30 or your net 60 accounts, they're going to use that DUNS number to report it over to Dun & Bradstreet, which ultimately reflects a lot better on the back end. Just for a reference, a score of an 80 is seen as a good to an excellent score. Because obviously that goes from a 0 to 100 for Dun & Bradstreet. So that's a score of an 80 or higher is what's going to be considered as that good score. So you want to keep that in mind, especially as you start opening up some of these newer lines of credit and as you start establishing credit. Building business credit does take time, but as long as you're taking the right steps and the right measures, that you can do so by, again, following and replaying parts of this video if you missed any. Now, the fifth and final step, we're finally here. Let's start opening up some business credit. Now, I'm going to give you some recommendations in this section right here, and I'll go ahead and link all of that down in the bottom. You can go ahead and start applying for some of these right away because some of them require little to no credit. Some of them don't even check your credit, especially if you already have a business bank account set up or if you already have some type of funding coming in with your LLC. And some of them are just great ways to start establishing credit because they do report to Dun & Bradstreet. Again, you can find the links to that down in the bottom. But first, take a look at two different types of credit. Business credit that you need to establish, and it all depends what you're really looking to get done with your business. First, there is financial trade lines or financial credit lines, and this is going to be for things like bank loans, corporate cards, business bank accounts. You're even going to get it if you're maybe financing some equipment, right? You're putting some of these things on a lease. This is going to report over on the financial type of trade lines. The reason you're going to want to build these up is if you are looking to possibly get high credit limits for your business and you're looking to tap into maybe $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, even $300,000 worth of business credit, then you want to build up your financial trade lines. Now, the other type of trade lines is going to be your vendor trade lines. These are things like your merchant lines of credit, your supplier trade lines, your vendor lines of credit. These names are all used interchangeably, but they all for the most part point around the same thing. Consider the vendor trade lines. Let's say if you are working with a supplier and you're getting supplies from them in order to maybe fund your inventory or maybe keep everything in stock, and then in exchange they're obviously putting that into a line of credit, so you're making payments to them every month. They're going to report what's called a net 30 or even a net 60. On a net 30 or on a net 60, that's what's going to help you build up some of those net 30, net 60 accounts, which in return, if maybe you need more supplies in the long run as your business continues to scale, then these are accounts that they're going to take a look at if you are deemed worthy, so that you can go ahead and open up more of those accounts. And again, extend some of those accounts versus just having financial trade lines. My opinion, you want to have a balance of both depending on the type of business that you run. There's really no right or wrong answer. So if maybe you're not on the side where you need to work with vendors, maybe you're on the other side where you just need access to capital like right away so you can liquidate some of these cards, you're going to go with the financial. If you're on the other side, then obviously you want to pay attention to those net 30s and those net 60s. Now, some different resources that you can check out is you can take a look at gas cards. Gas cards is what I would say probably the secret weapon when it comes to you building up business credit. You can take a look at Shell. You can take a look at even BP. Those are some pretty two notable gas card products out there. When it comes to you building up your net accounts, that's going to be taking a look at Uline. Uline, in my opinion, is really good, especially if you are just starting out. Now, if you're looking to build up financial credit, you can take a look at Divvy, which they don't do any hard credit checks. You can build up to and get access up to $400,000 worth of credit. And then you can also take a look at Torpago. Torpago doesn't do any credit checks at all. They actually just go off of the revenue that your business has been running. It just requires you to connect your business banking account. And again, that's no personal guarantee either, which in my opinion, it's a win-win, especially if you're trying to separate your business credit from your personal credit. So there you have it. If you found value in this content, consider hitting that like button down below. Join the official community. Don't forget that anytime we're not posting on here, we're posting over on the Inside with Irv show, which is a podcast style channel. So if you like what we have going on over here, you'll love what we have going on over there. Once again, I appreciate you checking us out. Until next time, everyone, I will see you in the next video.